Do you want to keep going with that story or tell me later?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Well, actually, you know what? I'll go and share that now.
Okay.
So I was at an event center. I was the officiant for my daughter's wedding about a month and a half ago, and my channel doesn't have a lot of subscribers yet. I don't get a lot of action on it. But I was talking to the gentleman who, part of the family who owned the event center, and I told him about my YouTube channel, and he went and he talked to his daughter and his granddaughter about my YouTube channel, and she says, "Oh, I've been watching him for a while."
Oh, really?
And I was like, "Really?" Anyway, I saw him later on, and yeah, his daughter was like probably one of my biggest fans.
Wow, that's
So yeah,
wild.
she's like, I think I've watched all of them. I watched you tattoo your hands. All these things that you've created and stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, that's neat. I didn't really know anybody was even watching.
That's wild. That's really cool.
So, but yeah, she was only I think 10 or 11.
Oh, really?
And she's like, oh yeah, she's like, I've told some of my friends at school about you and stuff, and she's like, this guy just makes sense. I was like, oh well, good.
Wow.
I on my Facebook, in the description, I say that I'm intergenerationally relevant, and so then that was able to prove true.
Wow.
So, because when I'm talking with elders, they seem to like what I have to say. I'm matching the logic and reason that they grew up with.
Yeah.
And then when I'm talking with kids, I'm talking with enough energy and enthusiasm for the future. I let them know. I'm like, I said, I really don't think we should be handing you guys off a lesser experience than what that I had as a child. Right? And I said, I don't feel that we're doing that right now. I said,
yeah,
it's harder to live now, with the how much money it costs just to live. That I think we could be doing things in a better way.
Yeah.
And these kids agree. They're like, yeah,
it's
it's expensive to live.
Catching the younger generation.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some introduction. Hey folks, let me know if you can hear me well. That's what I always do on my channel, making sure this is broadcasting. We got both
testing,
mics.
testing 1 2.
Well, we've had plenty of testing.
Okay.
Somebody comment. I'm going to go look at the comments. Now, what we've got set up for you guys is some good discussion. He and I have been hanging out, walking around the property for about an hour and a half now. And now we're going to set this huge bonfire up. And we're probably going to have to move.
We'll probably have to move back a little bit for a little bit.
But we waited for you guys before we lit it. So I'm cold, and he's not.
Well, it's getting that way. I mean, my extremities are going to be appreciating the fire for sure.
Of course, you guys don't realize you're also right by my cabin, which is also warm. So I've been going in there, in and out. And in fact, I need to add more firewood. So are you ready to light this baby?
Yes.
The baby. I'm not calling him baby. All right, so let's see if anybody's commented. Sounds good. Oh, good. We got Yakimedia 509 here.
Oh, cool. That's Francis.
Cool. Awesome.
Welcome. Thanks for watching.
And we got Jennifer and Royce. Good. Thank you guys. Glad you guys made it. And stay anonymous. If you want to stay anonymous, don't comment. Really quick. Here's where you guys are. This is the other side. So you're on the porch. All right. We ready to light that thing, Rob?
I am. You are?
I'm ready.
We'll hit it from or you just want me to touch it off?
Oh, is that what you're thinking? Yeah. Whatever.
We're lighting the fire of conversation.
Oh. Igniting our minds. Well, I used that not newspaper, but paper.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe you won't need it. We'll see. Grass is like a sponge. You know that.
It's right at the verge of
natural materials without having been altered by man or women. I don't know if they have a lot of women in paper factories. All right. Whoops. There we go. I think that'll be enough. So I got a huge pile of brush over here to draw from. He brought some bigger firewood. We got some huge firewood. So we'll see if we maintain a heck of a fire.
We'll see how long the batteries hold up and the heat and the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a time limit that I'm set
Oh,
for.
sweet. Yeah, me neither. I'm good.
An immediate change in experience.
Yeah.
Because it's probably 32 or 34 degrees right now.
I don't know. I think it's freezing. Hard to say. Let me get my temperature gauge and find out.
So the element of fire, we can always appreciate that when it's being used judiciously. And we're consuming fuels that could become dangerous in the summertime.
Yeah, true. All right, I got 60 degrees inside. I felt warmer than that. And we got a full moon. Well, not quite full, but we got a heck of a nice moon. Okay, Yak Media 509 says it's 38 degrees where he is. So
I
could.
I think he's in that cheese.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm at about 2,300 feet here, so it could be freezing. It's generally colder here than lower levels. When he said campfire, I was just picturing like, you know, a normal fire.
Right.
This is much better. All right. Oh, and I forgot to ask you if you wanted coffee when you got here.
Actually, I'm good. I have a water right there that I'm gonna grab.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only drank 2 cups of coffee my whole life.
Oh, really?
I added so much sugar and creamer to it that it really probably wasn't even coffee anymore, and so.
Huh. Yeah, and also, I kind of figured you don't drink coffee. He's more monkish than I am.
Okay. Yeah, I live as an apocalyptic monk. We live actually very similar. We're very simple in what our needs are, and how we go about accomplishing life.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of outside of normal society. You know,
Absolutely.
it's almost how much can you acquire, how much can we show off, rather than how much can we just experience in our life.
Yeah.
You know, you've been doing some touring as a comedian. I mean, that's probably been a really exciting part of.
It was cool.
Right?
Yeah, it was neat. Glad to be done not doing it now, but there's a lot that was cool about it. Yeah, that's right. So we're on my channel. This was his idea, and Rob, he does more. Our philosophies are very similar, but he does a lot more permaculture stuff than I do, which I'll probably start doing more of that. Like, we walked around, and my place is just waiting to be utilized. So I've got multiple pond areas to make use of.
Yeah, there's already been a lot of erosion management features installed, which is fantastic. You know, little catch basins all the way through the valleys, and you can just see a whole different level of life where that water has been held just a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's neat. That's one of the things many things I love about the desert is just a little bit of water, and suddenly you got a lot of change.
Yeah.
So we were out walking around, and anyway, so he does a lot of natural stuff. He brings people out to his property and does what do you call that?
I call it heavily meditated. I teach people about meditation, and even here in my coat, heavily meditated. And it's the awareness of right now, and that's what a lot of people are missing in their life, is the awareness of when they have power over the things that they're experiencing. And you know, and that's the balance point of life. You know, if we're focused in the past, we can't really change it. We can change our perspective of it, but we're not in the right now moment. And if we're worried about the future, you know, that's anxiety. And again, we can't control what it might contain, but we can shape it from our now moments as to how we want it to be. And like Richard, he's working in a way that he wants to see this land, and it's becoming that. And it's becoming useful, and it's a place that he can bring friends and family and you know,
Yeah, which
have this available.
Really working towards some hospitality out here, like he's talking about. Okay, I'm getting way too hot to sit that close.
Right? Yeah. It's
And now our goal here was to have conversations. So eventually, folks, we're going to get into a conversation. But for now, like I said, we're kind of doing introduction stuff. And so Rob is quite a character. I first heard about him as a legend, a local legend, because he and I are in the same town. And Tim, I don't know if you're on here, but a friend of mine told me, yeah, there's this guy lives up on the hill. Except that Tim thought that you had he thought you had the castle.
oh, right.
So that's what
No,
initially.
I'm not cool as Dave. Dave is he's taken a piece of land that was just covered in rocks, and he started stacking the rocks up and created a beautiful castle. And he's got freestanding rock walls all the way around.
Wow.
I mean, it's beautiful. Yeah, definitely worth an afternoon exploration.
Yeah, I really want to see that guy's place sometime. So I went out to meet Rob once. I think we met online first, and here's this guy. He met me down by the road. He was carrying a Glock or something on his leg, and you didn't have a hat on. I think your head was.
Hair was probably a little crazy.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe when you met me, I was shaving my head.
That's what I thought.
Every Saturday night, I was shaving my head for 7 years.
Wow.
And so every Saturday night, I let go of everything that was, and I embraced my squeaky clean opportunities.
Yeah, so he looked like a hardcore prepper when I showed up, but I wasn't worried about it. He's a really nice guy. Has got cool dogs, cool animals, goats.
Yeah.
You got a full head of hair then?
Now I do, yeah.
Huh. So you're just shaving.
I was shaving it just for the spiritual aspect of that's the thing, is I'd go to a comedy club, and people, the other comedian would be like, oh, looks like the KKK is represented tonight. I'm like, cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
You know?
The CCC.
Yeah.
KKK. Yeah, that's funny. Freaking comedians.
Right.
All right. We do have water in case for some reason, but this area, for those of you who worry about fire, this whole area is damp. In fact, it's so damp, it's kind of an issue right now, to where it's kind of miserable. That's why I liked it. We had some freezing weather where it stayed freezing almost all day, and then it's more arid because I like arid.
Well, and without four-wheel drive and aggressive tires, I don't think I would have made it up that one hill. It was pretty slippery.
Oh, the steep with the deep rut?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't think
Luckily,
about that.
I've got some tires that self-clean.
Yeah.
And a judicious application of throttle, I was able to get up the hill.
Wow. I should have thought of that. I probably would have suggested the other route. But the other route has some mud traps too.
Right.
Keep people out of here.
Well, it's always an obstacle. When you live out in an area that you're responsible for the roads and for everything else, it just becomes an obstacle, and it's fun. It's fun to navigate. You see the different times of the year. Yeah, you're going to have to be careful. You're going to have to really pay attention to what times of the day you might even leave. In the morning it'll be frozen, but in the afternoon it might be really, really sloppy.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way sometimes. Yeah, then freeze and then you can get home.
Yeah.
That is one heck of a fire. I'm really hungry, so we're going to have to make some popcorn pretty soon. I don't think I have any food sitting ready.
And I almost stopped by Ariel's Tacos on Nob Hill and got dinners, but then I'm like, no, I didn't, and I should have.
I tried to have a stew for us. I got some rabbits in there in a pot, but I couldn't get the water to boil. That's why. Yeah, I should have built up the fire before we went. Maybe it would have been ready. But oh well, we'll make popcorn. Popcorn is a good food. I'm used to doing my live videos where I look at the questions. So like I said, we're gonna do a little bit of back and forth here, and then the goal was he and I would have a conversation. But if people have questions, along the way, we can also take questions. Bake my friend a giant biscuit. Craig, on my live videos on Saturdays, I've been baking biscuits.
Oh, cool.
But I make one big biscuit.
Right.
And this guy, and Craig from Texas, he said, bake you a big biscuit. That's funny. Tim did remember that he told me about. Yeah.
Well, and the skinny biscuits are called pancakes.
Yeah, right. Which I could make skinny biscuits. Yeah, a lot quicker. Dead Wolf Resistance. Welcome, Bob. No, we're not in New Mexico. We're actually in Eastern Washington, believe it or not.
We're in the desert steppe of the Cascades.
Yes, it's the best Washington. Washington, I love the terrain here. I don't necessarily like the state, the government, but you get outside of town and we got some beautiful property here in Eastern Washington.
We are in kind of a drought-ridden area typically, but with the features that he has and in the location you're in with an artesian well, that's the beauty of the desert, because there is water. It's just it comes in spurts, and about 8 inches annually is what we receive in this area of the state.
Yeah.
And when it can be conserved, when it can be soaked into the landscape, real benefits to be had.
Yeah, when I went for a walk with the dogs earlier, we went up to about 2,600 feet elevation, and up there they actually have water in the creeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in those runoff creeks.
Right.
Yeah, it hasn't made it down here, but they probably had even more snow and stuff. So that was cool. That's why it's nice to be close to the big hills. Dead Wolf Resistance says he's got snow cover for outdoor fire at my camp. Nice. We're sitting here wrapping Christmas presents. Oh, cool. Feeling festive. My Christmas lights are going to come on pretty soon. I posted a picture on Facebook. And pretty soon when it gets dark enough, they're going to come on. And I'm excited for that. However, we've got the view for the backdrop.
5-star.
5-star view, except it's kind of cloudy now.
And if you do it again, it's a star review.
He's the comedian. All right. Yeah. Are you hungry?
Oh no, I'm fine.
I'm hungry.
I mean, if there was some popcorn, I probably wouldn't resist participating in that.
Guys, I'm gonna make some popcorn. All right. We can still talk because we're wearing microphones.
Okay. What we were talking about the culture and the religions and topics that most people aren't willing to talk about. They're afraid of being censored. They're afraid of offending somebody, and that's not the goal. That's never the goal or it shouldn't be the goal to offend people. But if we don't talk about things that are important, if we don't talk about things that matter in our life, how do we build our society in a way that's going to work for everyone, right? And not everyone wants to sit out in the middle of the desert steppe with a sagebrush fire. But there are people that like to do that. We're a couple of them. And there's a lot of benefits to be found when you're outside of what's considered normal. So one of the things with the heavily meditated that I introduce people to is it's really hard to find 20 or 30 minutes to meditate, to learn how to manage your right now moment and find that peace and calmness. But I learned from a happy monk that you don't have to be happy for 20 minutes, because 20 minutes isn't real. He says that the right now moment is real, so just try to be happy for like 2 seconds. And then if you like that, if you like the way that feels, then keep doing it. And if you come to a spot where you feel that doing it now, right? And that's the simplest form that I know of is I call it heavily meditated. And if you wanted to search that on my YouTube channel, you can type in #Mad Monk, MADDMONK _AAH, and # heavily meditated, and it should come right up for you. It's a half an hour to show you how to navigate your now, and then you just use it whenever you feel that you want to feel better, right? And I've learned to build my now moments on four principles. Four, like a chair or a house typically is going to have at least 4 points of contact to be stable and have a strong foundation. And for me, I realized health, happiness, peace, and abundance are the things that I want to have in my life. And so if I can hold those and I can lead by example instead of an expectation, other people are maybe going to be more receptive to it as well.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And also, you can tell how he lives apart from society because he calls hashtag #.
Oh, right. I'm not as technologically or I'm not in as much with the current trends of things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even call it filming. I mean, like we're not really filming though anything, are we?
Oh, yeah, I still call it filming.
Oh, okay.
I think a lot of
All
people.
right, so we're still there.
Yeah. Yeah, the #, that's what I first thought when I saw hashtags. Like, why are they calling it that? But I've adapted.
I guess when it works as a hashtag, then it's a hashtag, and it's when it's a £, it's a pound. I don't know.
Yeah, but when do we ever use #? We used to use it on phones or something. I don't remember what. Anyway, that's Rob. Rob's a neat guy. He does a lot more of the monk stuff that I had imagined doing years ago when I still lived in town. That's one thing that I really appreciate, that he I loved it that when I met him that he calls himself the monk and everything and does some spiritual stuff.
Yeah, the mad monk is not because I'm angry. It's just because it's
Crazy.
I live an apocalyptic expression. Taking trash and turning it into treasure. Taking stress and turning it into ease. We're alchemizing. We're manifesting change by what we do and what we are expressing.
Yeah, if you go out to his place, he's got tons of projects going. Like people, are they still doing that? Where like people who cut brush, landscapers, bring truckloads of brush out. They know they can just show up, I think.
Yeah.
And he just directs them, tells them dump it there.
Yeah, lately it's been leaves, gathering lots and lots of leaves. So, and the leaves, we can lay them onto a terrace and they work as a mulch. And then as that breaks down, it creates really, really quality soil.
Yeah.
And people in the city, they have trees that drop their leaves, and it becomes a burden. And to drop off 1,000 pounds of leaves at the landfill, I think costs you about $20 or $30. Whereas I know that I can see the benefit of them, and so I allow people to drop them off for free, or I even pick them up too. If I'm in town and I see somebody's got a bunch of leaves out, next to the road, I stop by and I steal them. I've had people come out and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm stealing your leaves," and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, thanks." I'm like, "You can pay me if you like," and sometimes I get $5 or $10. Somebody going, thanks, I would have paid $100 to have them hauled off, but
Interesting.
But I usually do that through the neighborhoods that I can tell that people maybe could use a little help.
Oh, yeah.
Not the mega mansions or the mini mansions,
right.
but they've got a contractor that comes and hauls away all their stuff for them.
Yeah, yeah. And then they bring it to your place.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've got several hugel culture mounds, and the hugel culture is basically what a beaver would be doing on dry land if it had time and energy to just capture the winter water. It's building mounds and then encapsulating them with dirt and mulch, and that helps to create catch basins alongside a hill, or like terraces that can catch all the water. It soaks into an in-ground water battery that all that organic material can absorb the moisture from the wintertime. And because it's encapsulated with dirt, it becomes an anaerobic environment, and so it doesn't dry out really quickly. And as it decomposes, it's providing nutrients to the soil, and There's just a lot of benefits with the permaculture inspired landscape. Terracing, hugelkultur, and mulch, getting worms active where they weren't before.
Yeah, and you get a tour of his place if you go out there. I should come back out because I haven't been there for probably 2021, I
You
think.
right? Yeah.
So it'd be cool now, years later, to see what you've built up
I've,
and how
I've
it's
got a
changed.
friend that has a drone, and he's brought it out a few times. We've got some aerial photography,
Oh, cool.
um, and then I have some aerial pictures from the geo servers. The county assessor's
Oh,
office.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they have some old pictures like from like 90s aerial
Ooh,
photos, and so
yeah.
I've got some comparisons between
Oh,
what
that's
it
cool.
was and now what it is, and from an aerial view you can't even really tell it's the same property except for some of the major features like the ravine behind it and the road in front.
Oh,
But yeah, it's
wow.
been a complete transformation.
Huh.
So very large aqueducts and catch basins and the hugel culture and terracing and access roads that also work as fire breaks. And
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I need is fire breaks. Yeah, it's pretty neat to go out to his place and tour around. He's got how many? I don't know. He's got acres.
I've got 16 acres that I'm transforming
Yeah, and it's all under
under
construction.
construction. Yeah, normally it's about a 3 hour tour, like Gilligan's Island, right?
Uh huh.
To get an idea of what's going on. One of my friends, she did the 5 hour tour, and at the end of it, she says, "Wow, this is like Alice in Wonderland meets Willy Wonka guided by the Mad Monk." I was like, that is a fantastic
Yeah, that's
review.
good.
So, but yeah,
That's
there's a lot of things going on with sustainable energy options. The earth integrated shelters, introducing gardens and diversity of plants into a desert landscape that wouldn't be able to support it um, without people helping. The
mm-hmm.
terracing and the mulching that helps for more plants to grow than if it was left to its own accord, because we're basically living in an eroded landscape that the water comes, it falls, it runs away, and then when the sun comes out again in the summertime really solid, the ground becomes like concrete. It becomes more like a shingle than a sponge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird. Like we were talking about earlier, it's strange how our society has created everything to just. It's like they want the water to run to the ocean as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, beaver's the hydrological engineer of the landscape. They when um, they come to a product of erosion where the water is just rushing away, they start to build a dam. And as that dam is compromised, they build it up, and then they work as like a wave pattern across the hillside. And the beaver is what initiates a meander from what was erosion. They're an eroded waterway.
yeah, and it keeps that water from leaving, and a lot more of it soaks into the ground then.
Yeah, slowing it down, spreading it out, and soaking it in. And
Well,
what's great is go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
What's great is these permaculture techniques. They work everywhere. I've got a friend in Florida. He has a space called Galt's Landing, and he's implemented permaculture techniques into basically swampland with with such fantastic returns on the investment. They're growing food. They're offering education opportunities for uh, alternative education opportunities. Ones where people can learn about growing their food and what freedom actually looks like.
In Florida?
In Florida, yeah, I'm not sure exactly where in Florida, but when I get my way that way, I want to definitely visit.
Yeah. Find out how he cohabitates with the anacondas.
Yeah. Well, and he didn't get any permits for his housing.
Oh,
He,
really?
he built his house, and one day the code enforcer showed up, and he says, "Hey, it seems that you haven't gotten any permits for this." And he says, "I don't agree with how you guys are doing things." He says, "This is private property, and this is just my family's deal." And he walked the guy through. He says, "You guys are being and managing minimum standards of construction. He says we went far beyond the minimum standards of construction here, and we don't have any loans, or we don't have any insurance companies that dictate the contractual requirements.
They hate that. No loans and no insurance company.
Right. Well, and like he had told the guy, he says, you know, he says, you guys are supporting HOA organizations and HOA type neighborhoods where you're actually poisoning the soil on a contractual basis. You know, you've got people bringing in chemical fertilizers that may not be good for the soil or the people living around it, and that's become normal. And he says, I'm not seeking your approval, your guidance, or your acceptance. And actually, the guy was very favorable. He responded favorably by telling him, he says, you know what? He says, I'm not going to bother you again.
Huh? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But he's operating out of a PMA. He's operating in private domain versus in public domain. And so that's where a lot of the difference is if we're operating in a public domain, we're asking for a government entity to be responsible for our actions or our actions with other people. But when we're in the private, we have to be self-responsible. We're operating out of trust instead of an authority or a contractual agreement.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's where if you don't trust the people that you're working with, then you don't work with them.
Right.
You know, I mean, because that's our option. We can say, oh, I've heard horrible things about this vendor or this service provider, and so we just choose not to support that.
Yeah.
And you know, through boycott and ostracism, those are basically the tools of a free society that we can see where our energy is going to go and what we're supporting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Whoa, crap! All right, so I'm trying to get this to where I can pop some popcorn because I screwed up, folks, and I'm hungry. And fire is hot. You would say obviously it's hot, but I always make little tiny fires. So being around a great big fire is an experience that I haven't been around in a while.
Well, and normally you wouldn't consume this much wood to heat the outdoors.
Right. Not normally.
Right. That's where, you know, people come up and they you know, have a fire at my place, and you know, I'm like, well, I said, do we want to do it the efficient way and go inside the shop or
the fun way?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is much cooler. And we might even grab a whole lot more brush here in a little bit. And stoke it up after we eat some popcorn. Alright, I'm trying to figure out how I can put this pot on the fire. I think.
What about that little spot right there? If we push that over?
Oh, well, I think this is going to be good.
Okay.
All right, folks, if you got questions, you can ask them, and I'll come over there and look at the comments. Or comments, also. Jennifer, I saw you made a comment, and I will come and address that. Well, actually, I know what, so Jennifer, one of the gals, or Royce, maybe Royce said it, they show their account, said that they have thought about grabbing one of those geodesic domes from a playground.
Oh, neat.
Making a house out of that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. I've also thought about it for a sweat lodge.
Right.
Except usually they make, sweat lodges are usually smaller. So I don't know if it'd be ideal for a sweat lodge, but yeah, simplistic housing. I think I like how that frame.
Well, and I've got a sweat lodge at Hawkshaven. I call it the Apocalyptic Ashram Hawkshaven, and the acronym of that is AH. And nice. But yeah, the sweat lodge we built out of willow, and I dropped some willows for a guy out in Natchez, and so we had a bunch of you know 2.5, 3-inch branches, and so I just dug holes in a circle and stuck the branches in the holes, and then folded them into itself and tied them, and then started weaving in like a bird would do to build an upside down nest. And yeah, it's a neat feature, and it's all natural. And it actually there was 3 people that we constructed that in. I think the frame was constructed in about 4 hours, and it's been standing for 10 years now.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty efficient use of time, time and energy.
Yeah, it is. That's a cool way to build it too. That's kind of how I had imagined doing it myself, but I never did do it. That's really cool.
Another option with the geodesic domes too is PVC piping. You can take PVC to build the struts, and then like on top of my wood stove, I've got a coffee can with a hole in the side of it. And so while you have a fire, you can be putting your PVC struts into the little oven, and then when it heats it up, then you can flatten it out and you put a little bit of a bend to it, and then you can you have a flat spot for your truss, or for your struts to connect to.
Huh, interesting. Huh. All right. I don't know if that popcorn's gonna work or not. Freaking tried to move this thing a couple of times. Ah, crap. There. Now it's out of the way. All right. We'll see. It's really hot on one side. Oh, I know. All right. It's taking way too much. If I had a couple of steel poles, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to transplant
Some red hot stuff on the other side too.
Yeah. Because it's too hot on one side of it. There we go. There we go. Now it's going to be too hot on both sides of it. Alright.
I had a grandma that loved burnt popcorn.
Really? Oh crap, no, don't catch it. I'll just stop being stupid. How's that? And then I don't have to put you in that situation. Alright, I think it's going to work now. Yeah, burnt popcorn is in black?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I don't know.
So whenever I do experience some burnt popcorn, I say, "Hey, Grandma, this is for you."
Nice. Well, hopefully we're not, because I don't like burnt popcorn. But we'll see. All right, folks, this is real life living. We lost some viewers. It's not the most exciting part. All right, let's see. Get some comments here. Yes, Tim, this is peaceful. You should come out for a fire sometime with us when we're not doing a live video, or we'll just do a live video and have another
perspective of conversation.
Yeah. Do you want to read these questions?
I don't have my glasses with me.
Oh, all right. Yak Media says, the Matrix has you, Neo. Do you choose the red pill and wake up, or the blue pill and stay blissful? Yeah, amen to that. I didn't realize until I moved out here. All my life I was afraid to do this and not have a good income, so I was trying to figure out how to make money. And then I was getting older and I was like, I just got to do it. And man, now that I've done it, I realize I should have done it well, I wish I would have done it way sooner.
At the age of 17 or 18?
Yeah, when I wanted to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I grew up poor and I wanted to have a family and I didn't want to be broke. No, I'm happy to be single, always been. Anyway, life's funny. Tim, what sage-dressed fires are good to keep bugs away? Yeah, well, we don't have bugs right now, but hopefully they'll remember that we had this and stay away.
Tell their relatives.
Yeah, tell their relatives. Yak Media says, build your own house. Don't be a slave to the banks. Well, here's mine. It was my $500 tribute to freedom. Except now I've got about $2,500 into it.
Well, still, even 2,500. You have solar now too on that, right?
Yeah.
Is that included in that?
You know, I don't know. I wish I would have kept a better accounting when I was putting money into it. But either way, yeah, even if it's $3,000 bucks.
Right. Well, people are paying that for 2 months worth of rent,
Yeah.
and then there's still another 10 months out of the year. you
Yeah.
know? And yeah, just in what a person is spending in rent, they could buy a piece of property. Or just over
Oh, yeah.
a few years of what is typically being spent in rent, and how much of the space do you actually use?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've made a simple structure that keeps you really warm in the winter, keeps you in the shade, and keeps all of your favorite things safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Keeps the cougar from hauling them away.
Yeah. When you really think of it that way, you realize, oh, a shelter is a way different thing than what I've been grown up to believe a shelter is.
Right.
Where it's like you got to have, like we were talking about earlier, you don't need a 30-foot living room.
Right.
I mean, it is
Well,
cool.
then you have to have a bigger TV so that way you can see it from 30
Yes,
feet
you
away.
see it. Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I loved our big houses. We had some cool houses. But and that really shaped my idea of a house. But now, this one that I just showed you guys, it was 7 by 10 for a few years. Now it's 714, and the 14 is plenty of space. I'm glad I added on, but even then I didn't really need to. But I did it as small as I could so I could see what space I actually wanted, and for some reason my Christmas lights aren't coming on.
Well, you say efficiency is the what is it? Efficiency is the maturity of sophistication.
Oh, really? Maturity of sophistication. Oh my gosh.
Efficiency, yeah, efficiency is the maturity of sophistication.
Christmas lights on. I think maybe these little solar panels didn't.
That's where if we're not living the life that we want, do we look at ways to make more money, or do we look at ways that haven't been advertised to us so that way we don't spend as much money? The more independent we become, the less expensive it is to live. And I live on just a few $1,000s a month, and I'm still able to save towards some projects that I'm trying to accomplish. But if I wasn't engaging so much in trying to change things and trying to offer an educational a space to educate and to introduce people to ideas they haven't been advertised, just a few $100s a month is all I need. And I've got a background in plumbing, so when I'm in town or when I'm given an opportunity to make money, the money comes in fairly quickly. So my obligation to fulfill my needs can happen just in a few days or maybe a few weeks worth of work. And luckily there's if it takes me a week to earn my money, and then there's 51 other weeks out of the year that I'm on vacation, that's the kind of life that I'm wanting to introduce people to, because there's not much room for stress when you don't have a bunch of obligations or the difficulty in meeting them.
Absolutely. Yep. And you think that we want and need ends up really being more of an escape from it seems more like an escape from life than an actual need. Like in Marketplace and eBay, and Amazon, I save stuff that I want to buy, and I do that intentionally because obviously not buying it. And then a week later, I realized, oh, I don't need that.
Right? It would have been an impulse purchase.
Yeah, something I thought I needed,
Well,
and then
see,
you
that's the
just
thing,
let it rest.
When I had my plumbing business, you know, I thought I needed a jet boat, and I thought I needed a quad, and I thought I needed these things that once I had them, I just realized they were more of a burden, because now you've got maintenance and you've got storage and you've got just the ownership of all these things, and it kind of turns into like a possession.
Yeah.
And if it's possessing your time and it's giving you the reward that you want, that's great, but I still wasn't happy.
Yeah.
You know, I was spending money trying to be happy because I saw other people doing things that looked like they were happy, but then, yeah, it makes you happy for a minute, but it wasn't getting me to where I was truly happy as a foundation.
Yeah, not a lifestyle happiness.
Hey, that's perfect. Good job.
Yeah, it worked out. Nothing like over the fire popcorn. I'm trying to find one of them antique popcorn makers with the long handle. So eventually I'll have a good popcorn maker.
Yeah, check out all the antique stores.
Yeah.
Antique.
No, it's cheaper on Facebook Messenger Marketplace, but the problem is people on Marketplace don't like to reply to messages.
Right.
I've missed like 2 of them because the people wouldn't reply. I should just make one. I'll attach a handle to this somehow.
Yeah, this is way better than the movie theaters.
Oh yeah. Movie theater popcorn has gone downhill.
Yeah.
You used to have this, it used to be cheap, but full of flavor. And now it's not even that. It's just horrible.
I don't think it's even real butter they're putting on it.
Oh no, they quit doing that a long time ago. It's like it's oil. It's like straight oil.
Yeah.
Have you been to Hellison Lumber in a while? They got the best popcorn.
Right.
Yeah. Like I don't even bother getting it at Les Schwab's. 'Cause that's not very good either. Oh yeah, more questions. And comments. Tim, what are we cooking? Where have you been?
Popcorn.
How many times do we guys say popcorn? Dead Wolf Resistance is making popcorn too. Awesome. Oh, of course, maybe Tim, maybe you said that before when I was just starting. These are old comments. Craig Curtis, DoorDash. You mean as an option? Well, that's one of the things. Once you simplify and minimize your life, then all of a sudden DoorDash can make you plenty of money rather than barely scraping by. Or if you're skilled, if you have a skill like he said, then you really make the money quick.
That's the beauty of the age that we're living in. There's so much flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
It only makes it difficult if we have a lot of bills each month.
Yeah.
And not to pry into any finances, but I would imagine that you don't have a whole lot of bills.
Right.
It's just same as me. I mean, my cell phone's $30 a month, and I have an internet that's $60, and then I am connected to the grid, electricity. But
Right.
that's because the rental spaces I have, people are not wanting to rough it as much as I'm okay with. So
he's got a house on his property. You didn't mind me saying that, telling you.
Okay.
Telling people.
No.
So he gets rental income, and
yeah, I'm not afraid of the truth ever.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so he's bound to a little bit more bills, but it's also for a good cause, where I'm able to fortunately not have power bills anymore. I hated all the bills I had when I had a house. Jennifer and Royce. Well, I'm looking forward to that day when you guys are able to make a good move. Yak Media says more money, more taxes, more problems.
Right. Yeah.
That's totally the truth. He also informs us that theater butter is corn oil. I'm not surprised. I add the heck out of that stuff and it never makes the popcorn taste good. Freaking movie theaters.
No, we should. I think we should be using that in the diesel engines. Not
Tim,
popcorn.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Power our trucks, not our popcorn. Tim says he'll bring some treasures for you.
Awesome.
Oh, cool. Jennifer or Royce. I'm assuming it's Jennifer making the comments. Royce usually says if it's him. She says we have a living room full of people watching y'all. Hey, Hardin
Welcome.
household.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose you guys are watching us on the TV. That's why. Craig Curtis, don't think you will have problems with apocalyptic zombies out there.
No.
No, not really. Hopefully they're not the World War Z type zombies anyway. But well equipped for a zombie outbreak.
Well, they need to have 4-wheel drive or some pretty good aerobic health to even get out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, can they climb hills?
Right? I don't think so.
You wouldn't think they could. Where do they get their oxygen? I'll run up this hillside today like a deer did. I'm pretty sure I watched some coyotes running up this hill. And it's a steep hill. And they're running full speed. And so I'll just do that. Get some distance, and then turn around and shoot those zombies. This was a great idea, Rob.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think real conversations need to be had. Real people.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of the television programming is broadcasting idols to people, but the idols are showing people how to live in debt and how to live in struggle and drama and stress.
Yeah.
And there is another way.
Yeah. Much better way. Rob.
Over on the wild side, right?
Over on the wild side. Life's a lot more fun.
What's freedom?
Huh?
It's freedom.
It is. It is. Even though I don't have money. I've got a list of things that I wish I had money for. And that doesn't mean that I legitimately need it. It just means that that's my mindset.
Right.
Because, you and I just walked around looking, today, because they chased that animal up the hill. I took the dogs and went for a walk, hoping, if they had killed a deer, I wanted to find the coyotes around their kill.
Right.
And I could chase them off and drag the deer home.
Right. You get back strap and some jerky.
And also just see what animal they're chasing. I don't think they got it, but I did see a deer hiding in the bushes, resting. Anyway, that's totally free. It's free and it's healthy. There, you guys can't see my fingers very well. It's free, one, healthy, two. And gets my mind off of what I don't have. And that's just one example. And then he and I were looking around talking about all the potential that my land has. All of that's free. Oh, nice.
Is that better?
Yeah. Setting up rocks, setting up ponds, digging it out, even by hand. It's free. And it creates something. It gets your mind going, it gets your body going. It's way more exciting than buying something. Like I'd like a side-by-side. I've been really wanting a side-by-side. I don't need one. Even though I live out here, I don't need one.
But it'd be fun.
Oh, it'd be a ton of fun. When I was hiking, I grabbed my binoculars because I saw something about a mile away. Ooh, you hear that?
There's the coyotes.
Yeah, and it was a side-by-side. And I was thinking, doggone it, if my horse wasn't lame, I could be doing that myself on a horse. And then thinking, well, if I had a side-by-side, then I wouldn't have to worry about my horse.
Right.
But point is, hiking is healthier, and it's free.
Well, and with the amount of rock that you have available, the natural resources, I kind of looked back at some of the cartoons that we saw as a kid, and the Flintstones, for one example. I don't think their house ever caught on fire.
Right.
I doubt if Pebbles ever had a mortgage.
Right.
And maybe it was Fred's great grandpa that had built it. but it was simple. It was an Earth mass structure, so the temperature gets stabilized. You know,
Yeah.
from the and maybe the cartoons weren't diving all the way into this, but the three little pigs though too, right? You know, I mean, if we build something out of twigs and sticks, or you know, matchsticks, or you know, things they might get blown down. They might get you know, but when it's built out of rock or brick, it can withstand. And you know, we're not building something that's going to rot away. It won't be consumed by insects. Won't
Yeah,
catch on
yeah.
fire. It
Right.
and there can be a real beauty associated to it as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, we were talking about how the underground is non-invasive. Like if you build like we were saying before, build an underground home, then you can garden right on top of it, and there's a net
Right?
loss of zero.
Yeah.
Oh, these lights are on now.
Well,
Okay.
and the Earth mass stabilization helps to maintain you know like a mid 50s degree temperature.
Mm-hmm.
So summertime you don't need air conditioning. Wintertime a small heater can really take care of a large space.
Yeah, that's what I really want to experiment with that. All these years I haven't yet, but hopefully I will this year or soon.
Mhm.
As they say, our frost line is like 35 inches below ground, something like that out here. And then when you get down there, they say it's supposed to be a steady 57 degrees.
Right.
However, I know somebody that built underground, and he said when he tried to heat it, the walls just sucked the heat out.
Right. Well,
But
it would to a point. It'll suck it in, but then it'll be holding it. You know, it'll hold it a lot longer.
see, that's what I told him. I said, well, you got to burn a fire for like 2 days
Right.
and get ahead of it. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Once that was warm, once the fire went out, it would still be warm for quite some time.
Yeah, and then you just do a fire to maintain it.
Yeah.
Because there's people with mass heaters. That was a real popular trend for a while.
Hmm.
And they'd talk about how they'd burn a fire for like 45 minutes a day. I forgot about that.
But yeah, when you're extracting all or most of the heat off of that instead of sending it right up out the chimney.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I think about that a lot with wood fire. I have an idea for a floor heater powered by water and fire and a tiny little pump. I might put that in the gypsy wagon I'm thinking about building.
Well, and you can actually use normal convection of like the cold
Mm.
water and the hot water, where it'll pull the water through
Right.
your loop. Yeah.
Yeah, the pump just makes sure that it happens.
Right.
There's a friend of mine, I paid for it. He built a hot tub, one of those hot tubs in that style.
Oh, cool.
But he added the little pump because he said it just wasn't pumping the water. And it might have worked, but the pump worked so well. That's why I think for heating the cabin, I'd probably just go with it.
Right. Well, and you know, you already have solar, you already have battery bank, the
Yeah.
charge controller, the inverter. So yeah, make it an easy switch for you.
Yeah, yeah, that way you don't have to worry about being warm. But I'm looking forward to trying that one.
You know, I mean, once you become familiar with the alternative systems, they're not really that difficult.
Yeah, right.
You know,
You
I
get,
mean, yes, it is easier just to turn on a light switch or flip a breaker, but that involves a monthly debt.
oh,
Whereas,
yeah.
you know, like you've made an investment in your solar panels and your batteries, and that just keeps working.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
It's investments that are paying you back,
when I had houses in town, all I think about the furnaces is what a hassle they were.
right?
And they always, of course, they quit working when you need them most. And expensive to run.
Well, fire is a more stable temperature now.
Yeah. And half of me is warm. Maybe I should set up my other flashlight. All the Christmas lights are on. I was afraid they weren't gonna come on. Because for some reason. All right, let's go back to some comments. We're losing viewers.
Do the deep conversations?
Yeah, well, let's look at some comments
Okay.
and then get into a conversation. All right, good thought, Rob. Tim was confirming your thought. Oh, it is Royce. It wasn't Jennifer. Thanks, Royce. I'll watch for a popcorn maker for you. Oh yeah, thanks, man. Maybe you'll find one. Yeah, that was an old comment. Okay, yeah, I figured after I was a smartass.
So we've got people killing each other based off of belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
My belief system is better than your belief system. And if you don't think so, well, then we need to fight about it, right?
Right.
And a lot of the people that are not even willing to fight over it themselves, but they're willing to support somebody else fighting over it for them.
Yeah.
How do we combat that?
Well, I can tell you my method, but I'm not sure it's very useful. I don't know if it'll be very effective. So I started by, I call it a humble approach to knowledge. Truth is this vast expanse of reality, and I'm this little person that lives X amount of years and has all kinds of things competing against me to keep me from learning. Ego, needing to stand up for what I believe, all that dumb stuff. But a humble approach says, you know what? Knowledge and truth is so vast, and then everybody's got an angle on it from their experiences. They get a different interpretation of it than I get because of my experiences. And so I try to approach it as, you know what? I could live 1,000 years and I'd still be learning. And so that means I don't need to. There's very few things that I need to believe are true. Like what I just shared. That's an important one to believe is true. I think it's pretty easy to know that it's true. But political stuff, I've got a lot of theories on that stuff. But with a humble approach, I got to acknowledge I don't know the mind of a leader of a world, of a nation. Like those kind of people, they're running in different circles than me. Just like plumbers. I worked construction, and I was the general laborer for my boss, my builder, and all the trades would come in. Every one of them had this culture and knowledge that was different. The framers were different from the plumbers.
They talked a different language.
It's a different language.
Yeah.
Yep. They all approach house building different. Everybody else is idiots except for their trade.
Right.
And even within their trade, everybody is an idiot except for them.
Yeah.
And so there were some commonalities.
Well, there's a lot of competition there.
Yeah.
I'm the best. Screw them because I need the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Show me the money.
But it's a good example of how, without being a plumber, being around plumbers opened my eyes to the fact that these guys see the construction world way different from me. So I knew that much. So I could learn from the plumbers. And that's what I was there for. I was there to learn from everybody. I learned as much as I could. And that's what I see with politicians. They're living in these circles that we know nothing about.
No. They're pretty insulated from the mass of people.
Oh, very insulated. Yeah. Who of us knows what it's like to only rub elbows with politicians and these people are running the most powerful nation in the world.
Do you feel represented by the people in your lifetime, even in your whole lifetime, not just current systems in
Hmm.
place, but for me, I've never felt represented.
Oh yeah, absolutely not, because they're different people from us.
Right.
And but anyway, that's my point. Is I don't know the minds of politicians. I can say generalities that they're all very selfish, and that's true. But I can't say, and I can come up with theories, but I don't know for sure how corrupt they are and how honest. I don't know how much they're motivated by genuine feelings and how much they're just motivated by greed.
Right.
So I don't know. I can theorize on how much.
I think they're motivated out of fear. They've achieved a certain amount of income, a certain lifestyle,
Uh-huh.
and if they don't jump through all the hoops to maintain that, their sense of ego dissolves.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Ego's fear.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's not. I don't think that most are operating maliciously, but there's a void within themselves that's causing some of their actions to look like they could be done maliciously.
Mm.
You know, like
Oh.
uh, signing a declaration of war when we should be talking about peace. You know,
Uh-huh.
how can we solve this amicably, where it works for everyone,
Okay.
rather than a corporate benefit? Well, they made a significant contribution to me, so I need to vote this way,
Yeah.
right? And that's where a lot of these things are belief systems, and the acronym for that is BS. Right? We just have to ask ourselves: is the belief system working? Um, so I've tried to reduce things to its simplest form, and if you and I were the only two people in this whole valley, which right now we are, um, would I come into your space and into your area and start to tell you what you should do with you?
Right.
Or would we just talk about stuff and we would be sharing information that, if it was a good idea, you would voluntarily accept, or I'm going to learn something from you that I'm going to voluntarily take into what I do just because it makes sense, you
Yeah.
know?
Right. Yeah. I sharing views like
Yeah.
what you're doing at Hawkshaven is different from what I would do, but uh, neither is good or bad.
Right. Well, that's the beauty of this this experience of life. It would be a boring experience if everywhere I went was just like what I had already created, or everything was the same. I mean, how boring of a place would be if everybody was just like me,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But that's why I've recognized free will as my political and religious or spiritual basis.
Mm.
As for me, free will is the first law. It's what we would just follow. You would do what you want to do, and I do what I want to do. And the first violation of the first law would be the theft of consent. If I brought a hammer over, I'm like, hey, you need to do it this way. And I mean, that's where we would start to probably not appreciate each other's time so much. And but 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 that's because I'm trying to push my will on you through force, fraud, or coercion, rather than just a voluntary assimilation to a good idea because that's what would work for you.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's good philosophy.
And it gives the freedom. I've had to realize that I I don't know everything, right? And so if if I only know a little bit about a lot of things, then it's pretty likely that I'll never know everything about anything.
Right.
And if I realize that there's things that I don't even know that I don't know until I know them, then it opens me to realizing that maybe my way isn't always the best way, but it might be what I'm doing and supporting right now because it's what I know. And it's taken me 51 years. Well, I mean, I've been happy for several years, but it's taken me 51 years of experience to have a confidence that what I'm doing in my right now moments is something that I like waking up to every day. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
trade my life with anybody. I I would like to have a little bit more free time of not so much hard, you know, the hard labor, work harder, work faster, you know, the this idea of what I feel I should have already
Oh.
accomplished, or the things, the projects that I'm trying to do. But but that's really the only thing. I'd like to have a little bit more leisure time. But
Mm,
I think that when many hands come together, that's what creates the lighter workloads.
good. Or you live like me, where you have unimportant projects.
Right. Well, or just ones that you don't have a time frame, or you know
Right.
you don't have a deadline of what when you think it should be done. You're just okay for when it is done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of I went to Unity Spiritual Life Center this last Sunday, and the topic was on radical acceptance, and
Radical.
recognizing that everything can be happening for you rather than just to you when we see it from the right perspective.
Oh.
You know, like sometimes it might be a challenge, but it can be also seen as an obstacle um, for us to grow or to practice um, how to manage our right now moment.
Oh. Because it's, say it again. It's because what? Because it's things happening for you, not to you.
Yeah, like okay, like
Is that what you said?
so. Um, my first day of kindergarten,
Uh
right?
huh.
I was getting picked on.
Oh.
There was a bully, and he kept poking me and slapping me and kicking me and hitting me and just all sorts of things. And
Wow.
my mom and the people at the school, they'd said, you know, hey, don't get in a fight, don't get in trouble, don't be causing any problems. And so I was trying not to cause any problems. And so the whole first day, I realized that um, me telling the teacher that the bully is bothering me isn't solving my problem. And so I could be mad at the bully for a system that isn't protecting me from the bully,
Uh huh.
or I could be mad at a system that's telling me not to stand up to a bully,
Yeah.
or I can recognize the opportunity that is presenting me to do something different, and so I flattened his face with my fists,
Uh huh.
and he never bullied me again. And I realized I'm like, okay, well, sometimes violence, if it's in the act of self-defense, is the answer.
And you didn't get in trouble?
I didn't. Well, I waited until we got out of school,
Okay.
and so as soon as he stepped off the bus, I just let him have it, and I was like, don't mess with me again, and he didn't.
Nice.
But it wasn't from the expectations of society that gave me my freedom and my security again. It was my willingness to stand up against somebody who is pushing their will on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I've had to fight several times, you know, in my life just because you know people try to push your buttons beyond um, being friendly. You know, they when they initiate violence against you, when they assault you, we should have a natural law of cause and effect of what happens to that.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
should.
my mom taught me. She was a great educator that the natural laws of cause and effect. That if I was a little a hole, it was either painful or I got incarcerated. You know, I
Uh
mean, if
huh.
I was being rude to other people and you know, or if I was pushing my will on others, then you know she set me back down and she said, hey, don't do that. You know,
Yeah.
and I learned how to respect other people, and it's been beneficial in my life of friendships because people feel respected or represented when they're engaging with me. You know, it's not a one-way flow of energy.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's good. And I think America has created the potential for that.
Right.
I'm trying to adjust this light so you guys can see us. I don't know how well it's working.
Well, on a bigger screen, it might work better too. So
Maybe.
I don't know. The important part is the fire and the words that are being shared,
Yeah.
the ideas, and you don't have to accept all the ideas. Um, you know, they can be accepted or rejected because that's your free will as well.
probably most people agree because
I think so.
they're here because they either watch your channel or mine.
And they're probably motivated towards truth and what's real.
Yeah. Craig Curtis from Texas says, "When is the alien ship supposed to be here? We don't hear about it anymore." And I think it's here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan is their ambassador.
And Elon.
And Elon, they're slow playing the introduction. Dead Wolf Resistance says freedom from religion. Yeah, I agree. I think religion can be good, but
Well, it's supposed to be a pathway to align with God,
right.
right?
Yeah.
I guess we have to ask what God is to people.
Ask what God is and what God yeah. Oh, I was gonna make a different point, so never mind. I don't think my light's helping any at all. Maybe it is.
We could hang another one of these.
Might be
We could
nice.
hang this maybe right.
Oh, right there. He's got this light that looks like
Something from Star Trek.
yeah, the guy from Star Trek that's got the wide sunglasses. Dead Wolf Resistance. I'm on wood stove, heat, and solar power. I didn't know that. My popcorn turned out awesome. Coconut oil and butter. Ha! That's exactly what I did. So, good man. Glad you got the success. Nothing like good old buttered popcorn. Jennifer Royce says, the best thing I ever had happen to me was shamed out of prepping because now I'm not in a mindset of what is popular and can see everything in a fresh mindset. Oh, basically follow his own thing and not a trend. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's hard to step outside that safety, security, normal paradigm.
Yeah.
People want to have friends. But we also have to realize that sometimes we outgrow some friends, and when those friends move out of our space of time and experiences, it opens up the opportunity for new friends to fill that.
Yeah. There's that. I think that in context, it's more about like the YouTube trends.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because a lot of the prepping and camping and all that stuff, these dang videos that people makes it look like this is the way it has to be. Same with homesteading, like we talked about. Make it sound like you got to do it this way or else you're not doing it right.
Right.
Because I fell into that a little bit with getting into my videos, but I broke away. And I think that's a little bit more along the lines of what he's talking about. But I mean, not to invalidate what you said. David and Goliath. Yes, there's some coyotes. I'm 100% Jesus, dude. Amen. Jesus.
I hope the microphones are picking up the coyotes.
Oh, anybody hear the coyotes? Daryl chimes in saying we need more preachers. Oh, that didn't work. Well, I got all my Christmas lights on, but can't really see them. So yeah, thanks for the input, guys. Yeah, the prepping is awesome when you just get to doing it your own way. And
well, that's going to look different for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A mouthful of popcorn kernels. Yeah, I'm still into prepping, but figured out my own stuff.
The insects, everything that's natural does some sort of preparation for either their shelters or their food supplies, or You know, they're living in symbiosis with their environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty impressive what they can do. What a night. Clear skies, bright moon, and hot fire, so it doesn't matter if it's cold or not. Cleared up too. Earlier we couldn't see the lights from downtown. But, well, still can't see downtown, but we can see lights. The coyotes are howling over there. So we heard coyotes over there. Now we hear them over there. I've noticed, I believe that's a common coyote method. Like every night's a party with the boys, basically.
Right.
You hear them coming out of their dens, and they all chime off where they're at, and then they all come together. I don't know that they all come together, but you know, they all start roaming the night. It's like a bunch of teenage boys hitting the town, you know, looking for women in trouble. That's how I see the coyotes, because a lot of our human behaviors are very animalistic. You realize that when you start watching the animals and how they behave.
Right. They're compulsively acting just the way they know to act.
Yes, they are. And so are we, but we explain it away. A lot of the out on the frontier, there's a lot of the men would talk about how the most dangerous thing was a young guy. Like Teddy Blue Abbott talked about it. He was a famous cowboy. Said how the most dangerous thing was young guys, because they'd have all that testosterone going. I don't think he said testosterone, but they had all this
Fish
energy.
vinegar.
Yes. And they'd go out looking to make a name and looking to fight, cause trouble. And I forget what age he said was the particular problem. But there's people, I think Wyatt Earp said something similar like that about how it's the young guys.
Seems that once that's why I don't think law enforcement positions should be available to anybody under 25 to 28.
Yeah.
You know, you need to have a little more life experience, a little more ability to navigate your ego, you know, than giving a 21 or 23-year-old a pistol and an authority to enforce policies.
I agree.
Up to and including your death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you know, do what I say because I said so. And, you know, we need to maintain order, right, in certain ways. You know, we can't have people pushing their will on other people
Right.
and not facing, you know, the effects of that. You know, but I think when we have a society of people that are actually held accountable, the people in the society are doing the things they want to be held accountable for.
Mm.
Right now we've got a revolving door prison system that I might do a violent offense, and then, you know, I pay a few $1,000s and I'm out on my own recognizance waiting on a trial. And it's like, well, wait a minute, if I was just willing to hurt somebody, shouldn't there be some either psychiatric evaluations and care and treatment and, you know, management of these anger outbursts or whatever, you know, whatever's going on with that person, rather than just arresting them, throwing them in a cell for a couple of days, and then putting them back on the street and, you know, wait for the court date.
Yeah. All because they got money and that was good enough.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people get restraining orders, but a restraining order doesn't actually stop that action. You know,
Right.
sometimes people need to be incarcerated and they need to be rehabilitated.
Oh, but the first thing you said was about how a society gets policed to do what they want to do. Do you want to explain that a little more?
Like on the policy enforcement, or
No, I thought that was like a philosophical idea. Because I think of a society as being policed to not do what they don't want to do, or not to be policed to do what they want to do.
right?
So I didn't understand what you were saying. That's all right.
Well, I guess right now we have police officers working towards policy enforcement rather than just the protecting and serving.
Oh,
You know, so like they're they're spending a lot of energy on revenue generation. I
uh-uh.
mean, if you're driving an extra 2 or 3 miles per hour over a speed limit, there's a chance that they might pull you over to extract money in the form of a fine. Um, Whereas perhaps we should allow a little more flexibility for people to make their choices for them. But if they harm somebody, they're fully held accountable when they do so. Like
Oh,
right now, if I were to run into your truck, right, um, I may not pay as much attention because I have insurance available to pay for the damages I do.
uh-huh.
But that's if it was my fault, I should have to pay for your vehicle to be repaired rather than raising the rates of insurance carriers for everybody who's having insurance,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And there's certain things that are just unavoidable, and that's what insurance should be for, you know.
Oh,
But right now, I know a guy who has 6 DUIs,
really?
and he's run into things. He does. I mean, it cost him 4,000 to 7,000 per incident of paying the deductible on the insurance, but then they pay everything else. He's barely on the hook for his actions,
Wow.
and so um, that's where there's abuse of the system, where there's not really an incentive for him to change his ways because he's like, oh well, he says I make $5,000 or $7,000 every month, so it just that makes it where I can't go to Las Vegas this month,
Right.
whatever, you know.
Yeah, when I was a realtor and I had my Lexus SUV, I drove as fast as I wanted. I said, if I get a ticket, it's just my speeding tax.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's the thing too is if the punishment for a an infraction is just a monetary exchange of energy, those with money have no laws.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if I think if you haven't hurt anybody, you shouldn't be they shouldn't be stealing your money if you haven't done anything bad.
Right.
But if you do, that's where I think we need to be personally held responsible. And like say in that instance, if I didn't have insurance, but you saw me hit it, and maybe it's even on a camera that I ran into your truck.
Uh,
And you'd say, hey Rob, you owe me $3,000 because of this is what happened. And I say, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. And you're like, well, all right, I'm going to hold you accountable to this, and I'm going to show the proof to the sheriff, and the sheriff's going to come out and he's going to arrest you and throw you in jail because you won't pay me for the damage you've done. And maybe jail shouldn't be the dollar a day type wages, but at a minimum wage. And if it takes me a month and a half of somebody else's supervision to earn the money to pay you back, that's going to teach me a lesson about self responsibility.
huh. Yeah.
Because like if I owed you $3,000, but I say, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't have that in my pocket right now, and I don't have it available to hand you right now. But over the next 3 weeks, I will give you the $3,000, and you found that was acceptable. I could skip going to jail.
Right.
I would fulfill my obligation to make you whole from what I did to you. We would be fine again,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But that's not the way the system's working.
No.
And the people that are, in some ways, they're getting reimbursed when their property is damaged or when there's an assault that's been done, but not in a way that's reducing the violent crime
Right.
or the lack of accountability with
Yeah,
people.
it's certainly not working.
Right.
Yakima's horrible with crime, as you know, and it's
We're one of the worst in the nation.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I think we've been saying that for like 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't live here back then, but I think it was in like '84 or '86. They actually had to bring in National Guard to they had to sweep streets with National Guard because of the gang problems and the
Oh,
stuff. Yeah, I was a little shocked to hear that, but I think it was in the mid '80s that that happened.
or no,
Kind of like what's happening in Portland or in
yeah.
Seattle and like these things. You know, they're like, wow, this is getting out of hand. Our local departments aren't handling these problems.
I didn't hear about that in the '80s, but we had the Guardian Angels because things were really bad, and they kept getting jumped, so they disbanded.
Right.
'Cause apparently they couldn't carry guns, and they were getting jumped by gangs, and that was in the 80s.
Huh. Sounds like an infringement of their right to protect themselves.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Should have given them a bunch of guns. And yeah, we got a horrible system. And it's obviously because everything's getting worse.
Yeah. Well, it's become incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
We're not making the rules and holding people accountable locally. We're saying, oh well, somebody somewhere else said that this is the way we're supposed to do things, and it's like it's a multi-level marketing scheme. You know, Washington D.C. has their little base in Olympia, and then Olympia has its little bases all over the state.
Yeah.
These incorporated entities, the cities or the counties,
Yeah.
that they report to them, which reports to them, to reports to them. Instead of maintaining locally the way nature works naturally, we're we're hoping that efficiency and accountability and transparency is being found by somebody somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, I signed a petition on it. That's I was
I,
hoping that
I
you know?
commented sarcastically on one of our local Yakima pages that I think you're on it, the WTF one.
Yeah.
I commented sarcastically. You might have even seen it, where there was some crime, like somebody's car got stolen or something. No, there's this person, two brothers, that they know the guys, and they regularly wander the neighborhood stealing stuff. And this woman posted their picture, and I said sarcastically, wouldn't it be nice if we all pooled our funds together to hire a police force that would stop
Right.
crime?
Right.
And I got a lot of likes for it, and and because when you approach it that way, because like you're saying,
Yeah.
we've separated the government from the community.
Right.
Whereas if it were literally, hey everybody, here's a police force that we're going to put together. Do you guys want to contribute to this?
Right.
Everybody in Yakima says yes, and we see their faces. And okay, this is your bill, and they're going to stop crime.
Right.
So everybody, every month you get charged $100 for your police payment to fund these people that we've chosen to stop crime.
Right.
It's a lot more personal, and it's not about traffic tickets. It's
Right.
about crime.
Yeah. That's the thing is, what if the police were operating within their actual authority and only putting hands on people or pulling them over if there was a crime that they were investigating,
Yeah.
not just an infraction of a policy or a statute,
Yep.
because the policies, statutes, codes, those are meant for public servants and commercial activity. You know, we are under we as a free person, as a free man, we are under common law. Whereas if you don't hurt somebody, you're not supposed to have any obligation to be investigated. Or I mean, if there's no victim, there's no crime.
Right.
You know, there has to be the parts of a crime for it to actually be a crime.
Yeah. So instead, they make the state the victim.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, now we're all criminals.
Yeah, they're actually not supposed to arrest you unless they have a grand jury indictment. It's not supposed to be off of information only. It's supposed to be that you are assumed innocent until proven guilty through investigation and grand jury indictment. and then they can put hands on you to make you be held accountable and be present in court if you're not a self-responsible person.
Yeah.
But right now they're doing that on informational only, or the, the the police officer is a state um, worker, right? And if it's the state worker that is complaining, that's a conflict of interest because they're being paid to be a complainant when there wasn't actually a crime committed.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, we certainly have a bad system because it ain't working. Crime ain't getting any better.
Right.
I need some water. But I also like to check in on ride a horse. Just have to leave earlier. Thanks, Craig. Portland crime is worse than Yakima. Is it per capita? Probably right. Broad skilling. Hey.
Yeah. Well, the whole I-5 corridor has really kind of turned into a crime alley.
Oh yeah.
You know it's the lack of accountability for what people are doing to others. Like in Seattle, there's a lot of that are choosing to close up because uh, the crime is just so bad.
Oh right. Yeah, we just had a ton of Starbucks close in the state. I don't know if it was directly related to crime, but I know Ferguson. For those of you who aren't in Washington, Ferguson is our what is he? Our state guy. Anyway, governor.
Governor, yeah.
And he either made it a law, or he's trying to make it a law that corporations can't leave the state. Was that Washington or was that California? I'm pretty sure it was Washington. He's trying to make it a law that like grocery stores or all corporations.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I think it was the mayor of Seattle that was actually trying to promote that and to
that they can't leave Seattle.
Yeah, maintain access for the neighborhoods for food access and stuff. But it's like if you're not going to stop the crime that prevents that corporation, that company from making a profit and while providing a service, well, then yeah, things go away. If you're not willing to support it in a way that is going to thrive. It's like if we planted a tree here, but then you just cover it up with a tarp and you deny it water, you deny it sun, you're probably not going to see much growth.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, they have strayed from nature. The good ways of nature. They've certainly followed the animal behaviors they shouldn't be following. Well, shoot, I brought the horses down here so they look good in the camera, and now it's too dark to see them.
Yeah.
Oh, well. The horses are over here, folks. Somebody commented that he likes the fireside chat, but that it's too cold out there in the Midwest to hang out outside. Yeah, it's not too cold here. It was 32 degrees or 31 degrees, so somebody said that it was 38 degrees where he was at, and at that time I checked, a few minutes later I checked this, and it's still at the same spot, about 31 it looks like. It does 2 degree increments, so it's right at freezing.
Yeah, that's about what it feels like.
Yeah.
The fire is surely appreciated.
Yeah, well, and we're fortunate there's no breeze. If there was a breeze, it'd be a lot worse.
Yeah. Or more moisture falling out of the sky.
Yeah, or that. Yeah. Yeah, this feels nice. So, I think what people mostly like, though, is the discussions about off-grid lifestyle. Here, can we get that out of your face? There we go. I was trying to... I kicked a stump right into Rub's, so it was smoking in his face.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to put it up on there, though, so it'll burn better.
We could even probably roll in one of these bigger pieces too here.
We can also grab some more brush. We got plenty. Don't need to be stingy with brush. There we go. Make sure your mic doesn't fall off. I had one dropping.
Okay, yeah, I've got it pretty secure on there now, I think.
Okay. I had one fall off in the river.
Oh no.
Yeah. And fortunately, it was on a video. Oh no, I didn't show it on the video. I just talked about it. And fortunately, when I went back like 8 hours later, maybe it was 3 hours later, I found it and it still worked. Incredible. Rode microphone. Okay, I gotta go do something. I run my well water. I run my well water at night on the horse's water to keep it from freezing. And if I don't turn it on, then the hose will freeze and it won't run. Oh yeah, that fire inside was awesome.
One of the beautiful things about off-grid living, living outside of the city, is that when you're in the city, it's a place of commerce, and everything is expensive. You know, everything has to be trucked to you and taken away, and it's often done through a meter or a cash register. And that's warm. It's really warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost need to be on a rotisserie for that.
Yeah, that brush makes it hot really fast. Make sure you're in view.
Okay, I'll lean in into the experience. But there's a lot of domestic domestic violence experiences, or between neighbors and stuff in a town. Whereas out here, how often have you ever argued with a neighbor? You know, I mean, like, very rare.
Yeah.
You know, something might come up over the years and years that you're in a general vicinity with somebody, but it's really not often. You know, and I've got a few more people around me than you do.
My other place, I've got a lot more neighbors over there.
Right.
No issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Most everybody that lives outside the city, they're usually pretty respectful of other people's space, and they just let you do what you're gonna do. And you know, if you're not bleeding onto them, then there's really not much of a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes me want to talk about my attack on country people. But I'm probably just gonna do a special video on that on my other channel. But yeah, country ways, country folks have a good culture, and it's we see a huge attack on it.
Yeah.
You know, demonizing as racist and white supremacists and all that crap. It's like, yeah, all kinds of crazy accusations when it's really an orchestrated event against people who are strong and independent, because governments hate people who are strong and independent, because it's counter to needing government.
I mean, there are aspects of off-grid living that aren't as comfortable as being able to just push a button on the wall in an apartment and it maintain the temperature that you like.
Oh.
You know, you're having to get up in the morning, and sometimes it's cold, right? And
Yeah.
then you can stoke up the coals and you can add some more wood, but you're recognizing through the cause and effect of what you're experiencing how heat works. You know,
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people that they don't know how the heat happens. It's just that when they push the button on the wall, that's what happens. And if it doesn't happen, then it's going to cost $200 to $500 for a service call to make it happen again.
I call that separating people from God, even though even though that's not directly God. But
Well, but God's the reality. You know, they're living in a false illusion of reality. So I would
well,
I would align with that.
the understanding of how things work, of truth. I mean, you could put that under the truth umbrella, and like understanding how to get firewood, make a fire, different kinds of trees, what they create. You get more and more in touch with nature.
Yeah.
And those people out there in the city, they want to separate people from that.
Yeah.
Giving them everything automated so they have no clue what is going on in the world, how the world really works.
Right.
Yeah, and then we've seen those horrible times where cities run out of, like, wasn't it a winter where Texas lost power? So
Yeah, just recently they had the
yeah,
big solar fields, but I think snow had covered them, and they were without power.
in the cold, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so they become, nothing against Texans, obviously. No offense there, Craig, but it's more of a city thing, and
Right.
where,
Dependency on a grid.
yeah, you become dependent on your provider, and your provider isn't nature. It's not God. It's not you. Um, which is what connects us to God. When we are dependent on ourselves, and we learn our frailty, and then we become dependent on God by learning His ways and becoming humble. But that can't happen when everything's automated, and then a catastrophe happens, and you're at the mercy.
And it always happens at the touch of a button.
Yeah.
Instant gratification. You know, some of
Well,
these
that
things,
too.
you know, we have to gather up things. We have to build the anticipation of what we want. We have to,
Yeah.
you know, you're having to explore all of the steps of. Well, that's okay. That's the thing. So some people consider like the I am God, right?
Yeah.
Like the I am. To me, I spent 9 years in the military, and you learn a lot of acronyms.
Oh yeah.
And so I kind of try to see if there's connections in that in day-to-day life. And I'm like, okay, well, what, if the I am is the source of creation, what could those stand for in order to how things manifest? And I was thinking, I'm like, well, what's the first thing is an idea, right? Or an intention. And so once the intention happens in our mind, if the intention is strong enough, action happens with our body, or communicating an idea, and action accumulates to a point that manifestation happens.
Huh.
So the I am is my intentions and actions manifest. And then if I were to say I am of God, or if I'm working in line with God, to me, God isn't a person, place, or thing, but rather the creative force that exists within everything. The omnipotence, the omnipresence, the the spark of life that is animating you, I believe is every bit a part of God as the bushes that we're consuming right now. And so if God is an acronym as well, I would say it's the creative force that aligns with growth, oneness, and a divine accordance with others.
Uh-huh.
And for me, and then you have a polarity of that, because everything is, you know, got polarities. You maybe some people call that Satan, and I, again, and as an acronym, that's seeing anything as negative. So if I was aligning with fear and aligning with hate and separation, I'm in the polarity of God, and it's gonna tear me down. You know, stress.
Wait, in the polarity of God?
Right. Okay. Well, okay. God is everything,
Uh-huh.
right? But if the aspects of God that we want to see are the growth and the oneness and the love, then the things that when it's void of that, that would be the polarity that
Oh.
I'm I guess I'm trying to communicate.
I don't know what a polarity is.
Oh, hot
Uh-huh.
versus cold.
Oh, okay, okay. Polar opposites.
Comfortable. The polarization of the cold would be the hot. And if you've experienced 100 degrees below your comfortable, and you've experienced 100 degrees above your comfortable, there's going to be a greater area in your normal, or your, that you're comfortable.
Mm.
So I mean, like, if you're regularly experiencing 30 degrees to 90 degrees in your day to day throughout the year, you're pretty comfortable year round. Whereas if somebody's usually only experiencing 70 degrees, by the little box on the wall,
Yeah.
in an environment, as soon as it gets to be 50 degrees, they're going to be kind of too cold to be comfortable.
Mm.
And maybe as soon as it gets up to 80 degrees, they're going to be too warm to be comfortable.
I think it'd be more like 2 degree.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That exploration of polarities, though.
Yeah.
And if we can see how things are happening for us, then we're aligning with God. But if we see things as happening to us, it's creating dis-ease of the mind. And that's where stress is the opposite of ease. And if we're in stress, then we're in dis-ease.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's really good.
And living out here, it's way easier to be at ease because there isn't all the stimulus. There isn't the sirens running by, and there isn't somebody stealing your Amazon package off the porch, and there's no neighbor throwing their dog deposits over your fence, and
yeah, it's nice. So it's another way that it separates us from God.
Yeah.
All that stress.
Well, that's like nature. Nature can't be advertised any other way than what it does.
I wonder how many people watching have been here from the beginning. It's almost been 2 hours. We need to either pep it up or
right.
You're kind of out of view.
Are there any questions that somebody would like to hear?
Let's check
perspective.
That. Any more questions or comments? Twin Peaks is the best series ever. Then Sopranos and Battlestar Galactica. Nunzioification. All right, that person has some pretty bad opinions. I mean, I know some people think Twin Peaks is great, but Arrested Development is better.
I haven't had a TV in about, it's been about 16 or 17 years.
All right, Deadwolf Resistance. I'm just going to skip over that. Of course, then you just said 2 hours of the greatest, so. Hail my goddess, Mother Earth. I'm not into feminist stuff, but maybe that's not what you mean.
Well, God's probably even not as the people that are jumping around in the parades or providing ideas of, but there's probably a feminine aspect of if God is everything, right?
Oh yeah, I'm not against the feminine. The feminine is great. Feminist is when it gets evil.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not there shouldn't be a glorification of one at the expense of the other.
Yeah, exactly. I like to say if you have to stand on other people's heads to elevate yourself, you're evil.
Yeah.
Jennifer Royce, I think it's still Royce, says, just even breathing, we worship God. To say Yahweh naturally
is the inhale and the exhale.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Still here. Thanks, guys, and loving it. Awesome. Good. Appreciate the feedback. My off-grid, Broadskilling says, my off-grid experience happens during hunting season. I miss the daily wood fires and cutting my own wood for heat. Yeah, you need to make a lifestyle out of it, my friend. I don't know much about your life, so don't take that too seriously.
I had a friend one time.
Come here,
I
buddy.
told her that she should do something, and she looked at me and she said, "Don't should on me." I said, "What?" And she's like, "Well, I mean, you can say what an option, but not necessarily that I should do something because
Yeah.
you don't know me." I was like, "Actually, you're right. I'm sorry." I was like,
Yeah.
"I'll quit shouldn't on you."
Yeah, I actually hardly ever use the word should. I did at like the beginning of this, and I caught myself. I hardly ever use should because I think everything's a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
I think opportunities like this where we're presenting awareness of choices that people sometimes aren't recognizing as a choice.
Yeah.
The
Hmm.
options that aren't advertised.
Oh yeah, the options. Yeah. Yeah, man.
I mean, when I was young, I thought living in a little cabin out in the woods would be a really cool deal, but I didn't see that people were still doing that as an option.
Right.
I was like, well, can we still do that? And it's like, well, you kind of, but you can't just go out on the public land and build a little hut now because the Forest Service will come by and burn you down.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
But you can put one on wheels.
right? And then
So,
with through dispersed camping and
yeah.
things like that, you can still use public land responsibly.
Right.
Another option too that people don't recognize is mining claims. A
Mm.
mining claim is only like $100 for a year,
Yeah.
and if you're digging a little hole while you're enjoying your fire every night, and oh hey, I found a cool rock.
Yeah.
You're
Well, and there's even some mines that are productive enough.
oh
You
yeah,
can make $100, $200
yeah, easy.
a day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and that's the thing too is some of these there's mining clubs that you can join the club, and then you can have access to a bunch of different claims.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then a lot of these different claims, they have like a little campground, and they've already got things set
Yeah.
up, and yeah, just
Well, and then, but the thing is, at that point, then you got to figure out a way to make enough money to survive. Um, which I guess we kind of talked about that. If you learn a skill, you can
yeah,
a good skill or something. But another thing about living out in nature is start learning to make baskets and stuff,
right,
and all of a sudden you can sell that stuff.
yeah. It's like the mobile platform that I'm creating. I can take the shelter module off, and then it's got rails on it that I can put a log on those rails and make a sawmill right
Oh,
out in the woods,
oh,
and then you can
make lumber.
yeah, you know, and you'd be able to carry and use the trailer then to be able to carry the items that you have available into town.
Mm-hmm.
Recharge on your favorite snacks from the grocery store. You know, that's the thing too is it's expensive if you're living within 5 minutes of Walmart. But if Walmart is 30 or 40 minutes away, the land is a lot more affordable.
Oh, yeah, you meant
Right?
the land is expensive
Yeah.
if you're living. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like I was saying earlier, I consider myself like a badger because badgers go to rugged places to get away from being
Everybody
hassled.
else.
Yeah.
Right.
And so if you find that land where it's particularly difficult to live, like over
Yeah.
by Terrace Heights, that land's cheap.
Right.
Well, yeah, just over the hill from you.
Yeah.
Up the hill from you.
Yeah.
That land's really cheap because it's hard to access. It's hard to access water. The wind blows.
Right.
But it's cheap, and so that makes it cheap. Maddie came and joined us. What she's really doing is telling me she's hungry. My dogs get obnoxious at 7 o'clock. It's not 7 yet, so they're not obnoxious.
Yeah, mine are probably crying at home.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, they're like, do you know what time it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they have an internal clock that can't be tricked very well.
Yeah. Yeah, even through daylight savings time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're like you might play those games, but I'm not into it. Like
Yeah.
I know it's time to eat. Yeah, why do we still do that?
Because we're stupid as a society.
Arizona has, like, I don't think they've ever done it, right?
Yeah, I don't think
So
they ever have.
yeah, they're showing us an option.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey,
Well,
you know, you could just say no.
the only reason, because apparently there's enough public sentiment that we want it to change. The only reason is because the politicians don't bother to do it.
Right.
Which, again, who are they representing? Not us.
Well, that's the thing too is like so we have a 12-month calendar,
Uh huh.
but there's 13 moon cycles each year. And I would think that if you had 13 moon cycles, that you should probably have 13 moons.
Yeah, but oh, yeah, but they're not consistent enough. I mean, that one's all pretty straightforward. Crap.
Well, before the, what was it, before the Gregorian calendar?
Gregor-
They actually had a 13-month calendar. It aligned with solar and lunar cycle rather than just solar cycle. And each month had 28 days.
Yeah, I don't know. I've looked into that stuff before.
Right.
I mean, there's different ways of doing it, but there's none that are like just
As
straightforward.
accurate.
Well, not as straightforward. I think there's some that might be just as accurate, but it's just not any better.
Well, let me dive into that for a second.
Okay.
If a woman, is living naturally and is regularly exposed to the moon cycles, their menstrual cycle
Mm-hmm.
aligns with it, and women that are in their vicinity align together. They all align in their menstrual cycles together. Like even women that work in the same area, if they work with each other long enough, their cycles.
Careful, because I think there's a lot of people who say that that's not true, and it gets controversial.
Okay.
I mean, not to say that it shouldn't
Sure.
be controversial, but
Right.
I feel like I don't know, maybe that's just a feminist thing that's anti that, because anything you say about women, they get mad about.
Right. Well, I'm learning this from the Native Americans. They had a red tent that the women would go to, and that's how they would be doing dream interpretation and supporting the younger women that are coming into that time frame of their life.
You know what tribe that was?
I don't.
Huh.
But in that, if you and I could look at the moon and say, "Huh, it's time for us to go fishing."
Right. Yeah.
Right. We're gonna go out and we're gonna leave the women back at camp and they're gonna participate in red tent. And we're just gonna go out and do our thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
There might be better relationships between man and woman if we were more in tune with their cycles and their needs. And it'd be easier to tell because we got the moon right there telling us, all right, what time of the month we're
For
going.
any women watching, I have not heard about this concept before, and I'm not.
I'm shocking him with this right now. So
it's shocking me. I just don't want anybody thinking that I'm
aligned with it.
Aligned with that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I am with you though on, and maybe this is something you were getting at with the calendar, like being more in tune with where the moon is.
Mm-hmm.
Helps us as humans to be like more involved and knowledgeable about what the world around us is doing.
The cycles.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about the cycle.
Well, it changes almost every day.
Oh, the moon cycles. Yeah,
right,
the moon.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot that it was called the cycles. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and then it's gone, and then you see the stars better, so then you get to look at the stars.
Yeah.
And just being more. We actually in college, my science teacher had us do that. Told us, go out and stand in the same place at the same time every night, and then draw the moon.
Right.
And we drew it on a big piece of paper, each person, and it was really powerful. It was really effective to be more in touch with nature.
Yeah.
Even though I lived in town, and a lot of times you can't barely see the moon.
Right. Yeah. All the
all the
artificial light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't barely see stars. So yeah, I need to do that. Usually I'm in bed by 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, so I
Right.
don't see the moon. But
Yeah.
this year has been a little different.
Yeah, I'm kind of a night owl.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, especially during the summertime because it's so hot during the day.
Oh, it's miserable.
That I'll find me a little hole to hide in while I sleep during the hot part of the day, and then I'm outside a lot. Well, I've aligned more with how nature works,
Uh-huh.
right? You know, the animals are going to be more active at night during the summertime because it's so hot during the day. You know,
Right,
they're in the
right.
shade or down by the creeks or, you know, um,
Yeah, it's neat to live more like the animals in the good ways. Not.
yeah,
I see a lot of animal behavior. There's a lot of negative animal behavior and positive for us humans to
right.
adopt. And
Oh, oh goodness, huh?
Maddie's happy to get the attention. She came out here and realized,
Center stage.
yeah. And so she was upset I pulled her onto my lap. She's like, hey, there's a new person. My dogs love seeing people.
That too, you know, dog. If you reverse that, God.
Oh,
They always they're always there. They're loving us. They're accepting us. They're um, they're our best friend.
yeah. However, they're obedient to us.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
Sparta. It must be, let's see, we started this at 4 or 5 to 6. Maybe 6 o'clock is when she thinks it's dinner time, and I just feed her at 7.
Well, that's what people are expecting of God when we pray to Him, right?
They shouldn't be.
Right. But that's what's happening is we're if God's doing everything right, we shouldn't be telling Him what to do.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we walked over a mile today, so it'll be interesting to see how they feel tomorrow. I was hopeful, thinking, gosh, we're walking no problem today. Maybe we can go camping, go a couple miles. But I don't know how they're gonna feel the next day. Poor doggies are getting really old. The other one's senile. That's why she's so obnoxious at dinner time. Uh-oh, guys, we're running out of battery fast. I wanted to use it, but I've got the other one connected to Starlink and I can't move it. Let's see. The dude is legit. It's hard to find like-minded individuals. Do you mean the dude, the Big Lebowski? Or do you mean, let's see. Oh, this dude. Okay, I was reading it from a distance. Yes, yes, he is. Thanks for saying that. She's talking about you, Rob.
Oh, thank you.
This dude is legit. It's hard to find like-minded individuals. Yeah, especially here in Yakima. Like, I mean, that's one of the benefits of Facebook. You can find people all around the world, but to find somebody local in Yakima is pretty dang cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's where these social platforms can have a real benefit.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to share ideas on a level that we haven't seen in the past. I mean,
Yeah.
like I was born in '74. I never even had a cell phone until I was 27 years old. But now you've got kids that are growing up that's all they've known. They've known
Yeah.
this
Mm-hmm.
capacity, and I think they